Hello friends, my name is Steve Guttenberg and I am the Audiophiliac, and I am excited. I am excited because today's show is an interview with Andrew Jones. Yes, that Andrew Jones. Now, I met Andrew when he was working with TAD, designing extremely high-end, very expensive speakers. And then he did some incredible designs for Pioneer that were extremely affordable. And then he continued in that vein, but a little higher end, with ELAC. But now he has moved on, and his new gig is with MoFi. Now he is in Chicago doing interviews about that, but I'm here in New York, in Brooklyn. But my friend Miguel, who's been a guest on this show many times, is in Chicago. See the show and hang out in Chicago. I used to live there. Anyway, I asked Miguel to do the interview for me. And here I am editing the interview, and it's really, really good. Andrew is an incredible interview subject, and he is really in top form today. So anyway, I am pleased to present my two friends, Miguel and Andrew, talking in Chicago.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. I think that's...
You mean my complete journey or my journey to MoFi?
Yeah, journey to MoFi. I think that would be very interesting to people to know.
Yeah, it'd be a bit long to describe my whole journey.
Yes.
Steve knows how much I can talk. So
Right.
It was really fascinating because I've known MoFi from the other side as a company that sells my product.
Right.
And got to know all the guys there. And it's one of the things that has to happen if you're going to be in a company is you got to like being in the company.
Right.
You got to like the people, not just what you believe they're telling you about what the company is, but you got to really believe and like the people. And everyone in MoFi is just such good fun. We always used to have good banter between us. And when the potential idea came up of we're kind of exploring the idea of making speakers. Because for people who don't know everything about MoFi, it's not just the record remastering and repressing.
Right.
You know, it's a group of companies, Music Direct and MoFi Distribution, bringing in Quad and Piega and Wharfdale, stuff like that. And then some manufacturing, obviously the turntables that we're doing now. So I think internally they decided, well, since we're doing all these things, we're not complete because we don't have speakers.
Right.
Now, it doesn't always mean that any company that's making something has to make everything.
Right.
But in a sense with MoFi, because of making, remastering the records and knowing what they want those maybe to sound like,
Right.
it might be a good idea to complete the chain and say, well, these speakers kind of show what we intend to have.
Right, yes.
And you can question, what does that really mean? Because what is a speaker supposed to sound like? Steve and I have had so many discussions about this kind of thing.
I've watched them all.
But nonetheless, the idea sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I imagine that in a way, it's like, okay, fine. What is our vision for the sound, right? And
yes.
right?
Yeah, exactly right. What is our vision for sound? How do we get that?
Right.
Who does it?
Right.
Who gives credibility for what we're doing? Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to get someone who says he knows about speakers to design, but it doesn't mean you get what you want.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is, okay, so you get somebody that you like what they do. So
Exactly.
obviously in my case, it's me. But now, do I continue to have the freedom of what I want to create?
Right.
Or am I just being told what they want from me?
Right.
And that wouldn't have easily worked. But what we've got is this relationship where they hired me for a reason, because they love what I do, they trust what I can do. And I love challenges.
Right.
Whether it's $100,000 or $100, or whatever kind of product, as long as it's speakers,
right,
that I'm doing. I love thinking through what if, and I managed to get that put into the press release. I enjoy
I read it actually.
What if and what.
Yeah. In a way, you both chose each other. Right?
Yes.
Which is the best possible situation.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So, and with TAD, I was getting close to the studios because that started as a pro company.
Right.
And even to get the project off the ground, we visited all the high-end studios around Los Angeles, the Record Plant and Capitol Records, to get an idea from them of what they thought of TAD. Even with Pioneer had half shares in Air Studios, George Martin's studio in London.
Wow.
And we used to get, as Pioneer, them to audition prototypes of the receivers and amplifiers, and the engineers would tweak them and say, now what do you think? They use the TADs as their mastering speakers. So everything that comes out of Air Studios goes to my speakers.
That's fantastic.
So I love being on that side of things as well.
Yeah.
It's back to the thing, well, what are things supposed to sound like? Can you ever really know that? Or is it just, I know what I think I want them to sound like, and if I've got enough people who like what I like, then I've got a business.
Right.
But so with MoFi, we knew that we had the same objectives really.
That's fantastic.
But they're saying, if you're happy, we're happy. If you're creating, that's what we want. We don't want to kind of clamp you down. So I've been busy this last year setting up a new laboratory. Sounds very fancy.
You should wear a lab coat.
And in Beverly Hills of all places.
Wonderful.
I just managed to find something that worked.
Nothing to complain about.
Yeah. So I've got my lab area, I've got a measuring room, I've got a front office, and I've got this listening room that's 20 by 30. And even with the rough amount of treatment I've done to it so far, it's sounding remarkably good and even through the bass. No large peaks and dips.
Yeah. I really like. My room at home is 24 by 36.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little too big, but 20 by 30 sounds like a perfect.
Yeah,
dimension.
and 11-foot ceilings. Plus, we're in process right now of outfitting it.
Yes.
To turn it from what was a yoga studio into what looks like a proper room for listening in.
Fantastic.
And so I'm getting construction work done for all the acoustic treatment I want, but not in the way of I'm going to slap some square panels randomly on a wall. It's going to look really nice. And
that's great.
So they're just trusting me to get all
That's
this done.
fantastic. And tell me a little bit about, I understand that you are already working on a product.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about
No.
something? It's a speaker.
It's a speaker. You won't be surprised by what kind of speaker it is, and I think everyone's going to know what that means.
Yes.
So we have visions of where in the marketplace we want it, what we want it to represent from a style-wise, from a tradition-wise, from a studio-wise. So I've incorporated all of that in, and then added, of course, the kind of things I would want to see in it.
Fantastic.
So it's, as usual, it's nothing bought in for the drivers in this system. I've tooled a new cone, I've tooled a new surround, I've got a new kind of magnet structure for it, all to give better performance and linearity, and say this is what I want it to be, not what I've selected to give me, if you understand that difference. And the reason we haven't announced that yet is simply that really you don't want to announce too soon I've been in positions, sorry ELAC, where I announced it a year too soon, basically. And it worked because we all know the problems. But certainly these last 2 years have shown you that you can't be fully confident of when things are going to get here.
100%.
And those supply chains are not fixed yet.
Right.
So we wanted to make some announcements, especially at this show, but not say what the product is yet.
Right.
Until I know what my manufacturing start date is.
Right.
And I'm close to knowing that. So it's definitely not, it's coming maybe soon. It is coming soon. And as soon as I know that, we can start bringing people in to show them what it is.
So I remember, I could not find this reference, but I remember you might have said that you have 3 factors that you kind of have to balance, but you can't get all 3 at the same time. Base, size, and efficiency.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it made me think, when you decide, okay, fine, I'm going to design a speaker, right? I imagine you start with the price point, right?
That is definitely one prime
And
factor,
then what
yes.
is your process where you say, okay, fine, how big is it going to be versus how much base versus efficiency?
It's thinking, there's lots of different kinds of things I could do that I would be happy with and saying, yes, this is a representation of what I would do. But you also have to recognize what is needed.
Okay.
It's not just a hobby, it's a job as well. And I'm got to meet a market need.
Right.
So you look at the market and say, what do I want to target? And what I've been doing pretty much all the time in recent years, especially with affordable product, is recognizing with affordable product, it's going to people who are perhaps new to the idea of hi-fi setup. And you want the potential of an easy setup. And you want a performance that initially allows you to hear most of what's in the music. And one of those factors is bass.
Right.
So if you have no bass, you've lost the drive from the music, you've lost the feel of an awful lot of music. So you need a subwoofer. But that's going against the idea of simple setup. Most stereo systems are not designed to readily add a subwoofer. And so, compared to a home theatre system. So my target was always, I want to give you enough bass. Because you hear it on headphones, you hear it in the car. That means I have to sacrifice efficiency because there's only a certain size I can get.
Right.
So that's always driven that. And then you get people complaining, well, it says it's only 85 dB. Yes, but let's say I made it 88. 3 dB in maximum sound level.
Right.
It's not that much. It's louder, but it's not, OMG, it's loud.
Right.
So, and you don't play at those extremes that often, but you miss bass all the time. So that was always my philosophy. And I know people, even on the forums, have said, are you ever going to do a high efficiency speaker? I'm going, well, how big do you want to make it? Because if I don't make it big, you're not going to get bass out of it.
Right.
And we're back to that same old argument.
Right. That's interesting.
Other people make other choices. Other people don't. It's always like some people focus on the mid-range solely.
Right.
There are some products out there.
Like LS358, for example.
LS358, yes. It's sort of in a way fake bass because they did bump it up
Okay.
before it rolls off early. But on the other hand, you got to understand why it was designed. It was designed for mobile control rooms.
Right.
So very small spaces mounted on a wall. So the fact that it rolled off, you'd got room gain starting from quite a high frequency. But put it on a stand in a regular room, that's not what it was originally intended to be done.
Right.
So the bass is, there's something there, but it'll never
You have
go,
to imagine
oh my gosh,
a lot
it's got
of
bass. You have to imagine, yes.
Yes.
Some people just, all they care about is mid-range. They don't care about top end, they don't care about bottom end.
Right.
So you do have people wanting different things. But I'm trying to go, through the middle of that and say, I'm going to try and give you a bit of everything.
That makes sense.
And I keep thinking about high efficiency designs, for example, just because I'd like I said, I like the challenges. What would I do to make a high efficiency? Because everything is a compromise.
Right.
There is no perfect speaker, certainly. And it's down to, okay, so which blend of those compromises
That's right.
do I choose? So high efficiency needs bigger magnets, means lighter cones, bigger cones. Well, there's compromises in doing all of that. As you lighten up the cone, you restrict the number of materials you can use.
Right.
It might have more resonances. As you make it bigger, it's got more resonances, and so forth.
Right, yes.
Now, it doesn't mean they can't work, but you're working from a different set of variables.
Do you find that sort of juggling compromise is part of the interesting
Oh,
aspect of
absolutely.
the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep doing, I don't want to keep doing Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 and just...
Right, yes.
Which, of course, I have been doing. So I have to be careful how I phrase that.
Yes.
Because even with that, when you're trying to improve something, what constitutes an improvement? If you've got a really popular product,
Right.
and the idea, well, let's make a better one. Well, better to who? They chose it for how it sounds. Now, maybe they chose that within the subset of the price point they can afford and what they need and what their system is. They really would like a better sound, but this works for now.
Right.
If you make it better, like I said, what constitutes better?
Right.
Is it better for me, or is it just different? Different can be better or worse depending on the person's viewpoint. So sometimes I have my gravest doubts about my abilities when I'm trying to improve something.
No, I completely understand, especially when you already have a product that is successful, right?
Yes.
You're just sort of like, I don't know, how do I get there, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't really sell, then you've got to do any change to it.
Exactly.
It has to be
Any
better.
changes
It has to be
going up. Yeah.
going up.
Yes.